Good afternoon. We should be up and running here. Should be able to hear me, should be able to see charts. Um, Market's been closed for about a couple minutes, so we'll get to take a look at the closing price here. We'll review the market and today's play. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for March 31st, 2022. Q's down 1.24. SPY down 1.44. Now, if you recall, today came into today a little bit more of a neutral bias than we've had in the past because we did get a pullback to the 20 MA. While everything else still looked bullish, what we outlined was the scenario in which I will be bearish. Okay, we outlined if this happens, I will be bearish, and if this specific thing happens, that would be the most bearish scenario. Okay, and the most bearish scenario that I said is if we try to move up in the morning and then we break underneath yesterday's low, right? That was what we said yesterday at the end of the day at the close. If we try to move up in the morning, okay, and then we fail to do so and we come right back down and take out the lows, then we will be short-term bearish, looking for the first meaningful pullback in the Qs here since we bottomed, okay, middle of March. So you can see the daily's just been grinding higher. Is this going to be the start of the pullback? That's what we want to know, and that's what we're going to be operating with, the assumption that it is. And so we'll watch the hourly here. Daily, we'll see if it pulls back into some support here. All right, rising 20. Is it going to come into that? And then eventually will the hourly turn back up as it's now breaking the 20 and staying below it. Okay, so, this morning we were keeping a close eye on the potential for the Qs and SPY here to turn bearish in the short term, and that's what we got. Okay, so, sometimes it's not that easy. On the move up here, I didn't think we had good reference points as far as where we can turn bearish. And I thought that finally, we got a decent pullback, one that should hold, and then since we failed on it, that made things easier. Okay, so that's what we got going into tomorrow. Short-term bearish, but overall, the monthly still is bullish. The weekly, while it has run up into resistance, is a pretty bullish move, and then the daily we're watching for a pullback, but daily you can see is no longer in a downtrend. Okay, so just for the short term, expecting more of a pullback over for tomorrow and maybe even into Monday, depending on what we do tomorrow. All right, let's go over the plays from today. Now, I thought path was the best gap down overall that we had today. Okay, clearing, not much in the way. If I can get in this and be in this all day, I would like to. Now, I'll show you what I did with this. Sammy had a nice call on this just as it was breaking the opening range. Really liked that play. Okay, then I decided to add to it. Okay, so I added to it. So it broke right there and then it didn't go. So I added more shares here and lowered my stop to here. Okay, that allows me to add more shares without risking more because on the shares that I was already in, I'm basically using the profit. So I was already in from there. I was using the profit from this here, so from in between here and here, to use that to basically short more shares, right? So from here to here. Okay, so it was already locked in. These shares were going to be profitable, so I add more shares. Trigger didn't work, and then it stopped out. Okay, now it stopped out. Okay, but there's stopped out right there. Interestingly enough, we just went over this a couple days ago. If the bar that gets you out, you can look to replay. Okay, if it doesn't follow through, the bar that got me out, put an inside bar right back down. At the same time, that was doing a 5-minute sell side. You see that? This is the bar that got me out, immediately went right back down, and I got back in as a 5-minute sell. So the nice thing about this was the first play was about $1 stop, okay? And then on this, which was only about a 40-cent stop, okay, I was able to get more shares. So then as a 5, now I was down on this, of course, lost an R because of the ad, and added more shares, lowered the stop, stopped out right there, but then I was able to get back in, okay, because of the thing we just talked about a couple days ago. If something shakes you out, okay, and you think it might be a shakeout, gets you out, doesn't follow through, goes right back down, you can either look for the next entry, which in this case was the 5-minute sell setup, or you can just get back in. Those two, in this case, actually had both scenarios. Okay, not only was it a 5-minute sell, but I'm getting right back in on the bar underneath the bar that got me out. So both criteria were met. You only need one. You can do one or the other, or if it happens to be both at the same time, right? Then in this case, did both. So that was good. Path was good. On the break here, took half, and then the back half eventually trailed over the hourly. Over, I think it was like 22 or 20, yeah, 21.17 over that. So that was the path. Not too bad on the path. The replay was good. You know, it's just, we go over that stuff because it's just what happens in commonly with shakeouts. Okay. And it's better than just, you know, sitting here going, darn it, I was in this. You know, why does the market hate me, right? Just get back in. Okay, other play today was the SHCR, which also actually took me a couple of tries, but both were scalps. So first, tried to scalp it as a short here off the level 2, I think right in here. Didn't really follow through. And then set up again later on. Here's the gap on this. Okay, so we already saw the path gap was really nice. This was also pretty nice, especially once it cleared support on the SHCR. Played it as a scalp. It wasn't the easiest. I think on the initial drop, I did get out first and then have to get back in, and then got trailed out here after bounce again. And then I didn't play this last drop, which was really nice. It did kind of happen fast on the SHCR, but actually could have been played as just a regular base breakdown right off the lows there. Okay. Right off the lows, breaking down. I mean, this play, we've seen a lot of these start to work lately. STNE, also 5-minute base breakdown. Okay, basing at the lows, breaking down. Yesterday, AKBA in the morning. Can't bounce at all. Can't get off the lows after a gap down. And there, breaks down, falls apart, and tries to bounce and then gets halted. And after it gets halted, drops, I don't know, I forgot what the percentage was on that. 60, 70% maybe, just right there. I mean, it's yeah, it's hard to even put this all into one picture, but that's where that breakdown was. Now, that's not going to happen that much, but stuff like the path, we can get this almost every day. Stuff like this base breakdown at the open, and then a 5-minute base breakdown. These we can find, okay, on average, at least once a day. Okay, FUTU, okay, very nice, basing at the lows, breakdown, and then another into the afternoon. Okay, so these plays, I mean, I like them a lot. You've been doing them quite a bit, and especially because today we knew that once we got that failed attempt to bounce in the morning on Qs, we should be looking more bearish. Okay, so with that, then yeah, the focus was more on the shorts. Now, if you're in the room, you know this because I mentioned it a few times. Here you go. This is the same play. Look at this. It's the same play. There it is. Base breakdown. Okay, this one not available on Thinkorswim. Unfortunate. Look at this daily here too. You see how actually this is the same play on the daily as it is on the intraday. Very, very weak at all-time lows and then breaking down to new all-time lows. Intraday, basing at the lows, okay, and then breaking down to new intraday lows. That's time frame alignment. That's every time frame saying the sellers are in control and I just can't bounce. I can only stay weak. There's just not enough interest, not enough demand, not enough buying to make me move up. And I just can't get off the lows. Okay. So, I mean, that's the same. SHCR is the same. Yeah. Base breakdown, daily, basing at the bottom, and then breaking down today with today's gap. Right? So hopefully, yeah, you see that because this play has really, I think, been the star the last week or two. Yeah, probably the last 2 weeks. This has been really, really nice. Now, there have been some nice breakouts like the Hills and the JagX today, but I think because the market is a little bit more bearish and these are a little bit lower priced, well, some of those breakdowns are also pretty lower priced, a little bit more volatile. So these have been a little bit harder to manage, stuff like this, because you stick with them unless, like I said yesterday, I think this one I lost like 25, not lost on it, but couldn't get out fast enough. I think 25, 24 cents off the top when I was trying to get out. Because I was thinking, well, I'm trying to trail this and then just drop fast. And so the JagX too, pretty sloppy, pretty jumpy, but you look at that move up, that's still pretty nice. Gave you an idea for this over the high of the day, 65 by 62. I ended up passing on this, which is unfortunate because this really, really worked. But just because I was more bearish on the market, and so I wanted to focus on the shorts. But man, that was nice. I think it was like 5-hour move there. All right. That's going to do it for today's market wrap. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow to close out the week, start a new month, start a new quarter. All right, talk to you then. Have a good evening.